It's Monday, September 16th, 2024, and this is episode 318 of You Can Bet on That. Hi, everybody. Welcome to You Can Bet on That, a podcast for the recreational gambler. I'm Mark Duvall.
And I'm Dr. Mike.
Well, Dr. Mike, on our last episode, some football had already started, college football, etc., but now we're really into it. NFL has started. Are you still enjoying the football, Dr. Mike?
Yes, very much so.
Good.
Very, very much so. How's my record?
Oh, I'll have to check. Your record was actually okay. Today's starting out a little rough, but I will tabulate all the results and let you know after the show exactly how you're doing.
All right. Sounds good.
We mentioned on our last episode that we were in several pools this year, and a couple of them thanks to some listeners that gave us free entries. One of those was from listener Daniel. He goes by Rev Dan. He's a frequent contributor to the show. Mike, eliminated in the first week.
Yeah. There's some circumstances with that, though. Mark.
Okay, there are some. Now, this is a college football survivor pool, and somehow we were thinking, it's starting the same week as the NFL is starting. So by the time we got the reminder from Rev Dan, there were only a few games to pick from. Now, who did we pick? We picked Florida State, and they were big favorites, right?
Yes.
And anybody who has been keeping track of college football knows that didn't go very well for them in a Monday night game. So,
yeah, well, we had to pick it because wasn't it like Sunday night?
Yeah, we only had a couple to pick from. But
yeah, and this was the one that was favored the most.
Yeah, here's the thing. As it turns out, only 4 of the 15 entrants in Rev Dan's pool made it past the first week. So we weren't alone. Who knows? This might have been the game that we picked anyway. So
right.
We're in good company, I guess. Only 4. And I think they've made it they got through the second week as well, too. Those same 4. But we're in good company. Yeah, we didn't make it past the first week, but big deal.
But we're doing well in all of our other pools.
Yeah, we're in we're in one with Tim Lawson put together, a survivor pool, one that the Crap Vegas boys put together. So yeah, we're still in those. So good job.
We're still in those, and we're still in the doll pool, which is good because.
Well, that's every week. That's not a survivor pool.
No, but it's a pool that we're doing well in.
You did very well that first week. Good job, Dr. Mike.
Yes.
You didn't come in first, but it was like 4th or something. That's where you.
No, I was tied for 2nd.
You're absolutely right, Mike. I'm looking at it right now. 2nd place. So great job. So,
yes.
That's a week to week as well as a season wide. So, yeah, you're off to a great start there. That's where you pick against the spread certain college games and all the NFL games. So,
yeah, and then so far this week. Now, I haven't checked today because I've been busy, so I don't know. There might have been a game already played today.
Right.
But before today, which is Saturday, I was 2-0 on this week.
Okay, and I'm just checking right now, Mike. This makes for a great podcast, right? Well, we're looking at things in the middle of Saturday. It's going to be completely different at the end of the day. But you've also got a win for today. So you're 3-0 so far. Yeah.
3-0.
Yeah. Yeah, there you go.
This is my year, Mark.
Yep. Maybe don't fade Dr. Mike this year.
Yeah, you know why it's my year? Because I'm actually studying a little bit about the games.
I know you you give me your picks. You're giving me some baseball picks now too. So yeah,
I'm analyzing statistics and looking at different expert picks and doing all kinds of stuff that really doesn't matter in the long run. And it just occupies my time.
Hey, that's fine. No matter what, set the dice.
Yeah, right. No matter what, set the dice. That should be a shirt.
Set the dice.
No matter what,
have 33 showing, right? Because that's everybody's favorite set is that 33.
Right. No matter what, set the dice.
Right.
That's awesome. There's another great idea for another podcast to make a shirt.
For another pod. Oh, so
somebody listening will make it.
I see.
We'll be too lame to actually make it.
I get it. We're too lame to come up with the T-shirt itself. As has been shown with all the ideas we've had over the years. And our shirts are basically just our logo. You're thinking somebody's going to come up with a new podcast called Make This Shirt, and every week they just talk about T-shirt ideas.
Correct.
There's your free idea, folks. Go get them.
Yeah.
All right. Well, believe it or not, Mike, our poker tournament, we still haven't talked about our poker tournament on the show. It was 2 weeks ago.
I've completely forgotten about it.
I know. I was putting together the show notes. It's like, oh, yeah, we've got to talk about the poker tournament. Anyway, another great tournament. Thank you, everybody, for showing up. And thank you also for holding off on registering until you knew you were absolutely going to play. We had very few no-shows this time, so it made for a great tournament.
And this was a good tournament. I liked it, even though I didn't do as well as I planned.
Sure.
But
you did better
I did enjoy.
You said you were going to be working on school stuff the whole time.
Yeah.
And that was your excuse for not doing well. But you did very well. Good job, Dr. Mike.
Yeah, well, I was working on school stuff, but I should have paid more attention. I really didn't get any good hands.
Yeah, I was kind of watching your table, so yeah.
Yeah, I had mediocre at best hands all day, so you can't overcome that.
Yeah. Well, first place went to user Slight89. He also was the one who took me out. So he got $150 in Amazon gift cards. So congratulations. Second place was our buddy Bill from our weekly home game. Great job, Bill. I didn't even give him an Amazon gift card. I just took $50 to him the next time we played. Said, here you go.
Wow.
He took the cash. He used it for his buy-in that night.
And did he lose it back to you?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Mark,
it was perfect.
You rascal. Bill, demand a gift card that Mark can't win back from you. Oh, my goodness. This is a ploy, Bill. You fell for it.
Bill wanted all the listeners to know that when there were 103 players left, he was in 103rd place. He wanted everybody to know that he had that big of a comeback to come back in second place. So congratulations.
Yeah, and he did. I mean, there were points, well, Bill's going to go out now, and then boom. Nope. He survived and won.
Third place was listener Brandon. He got a $25 gift card. And then in a hand that took you out, Mike, 44 Magnum Fun and Jim from New York, who goes by Chauncey Street on PokerStars, they simultaneously took you out because they ended up with the same hand. I think it was like a straight or something, right? So, that was the winning hand that took you out. Now, I think Jim from New York maybe had more chips at that time. Whatever. We just gave both of them $50 gift cards for taking you out simultaneously.
Well, I mean, come on. It takes two people to take me out.
That's how good Dr. Mike is.
That's how good I was playing. Two of them.
Now, the tournament went a little longer than usual, and this was due to a kind of an unfortunate situation. Brandon, and we're going to hear from Brandon later in the show too, he was having problems with his connection. Now, in PokerStars, if you actually sit out a hand, if you're not even logged in, or you are logged in and the timer just runs out, PokerStars just assumes you're sitting out hands. And so when action gets to you, it just skips over you very quickly. But if you've been disconnected, and this was the case with Brandon, where he's trying to get back in, every time there's action on that disconnected person, it waits 20 seconds, hoping that you'll be able to get back in. So unfortunately, Brandon had long periods where he was disconnected. And so every hand when action was on him, it took 20 seconds to move on to the next player. So that took up quite a bit of time. There's nothing as a coordinator of the tournament that I could do. And for good reason. You don't want the tournament director to have the power to eliminate people or say, oh, he's sitting out. I mean, this was just play money, but imagine if it were a real money game and the tournament director had the power to do that. So I can understand why PokerStars didn't allow me to do anything. So when he was disconnected, it took 20 seconds to get past him. And, the rest of the table was kind of having fun with it. They were throwing snowballs at him. You know how you can do those virtual things where you throw, horseshoes and snowballs and everything. So they were kind of having fun with that. But Brandon did end up backing into third place because he was disconnected when he finished in third place. So congratulations, Brandon.
A lot of scheming going on so far.
Again, we'll hear from him a little bit later. And as he always does, listener Richard offered $100 to the charity of the winner's choice. And Slight89 picked St. Jude, a wonderful organization that deals with childhood cancers and pediatric diseases. I'm sure you've seen the ads. Danny Thomas was a big proponent of that, and Marlo
Well,
Thomas.
Danny Thomas started it.
Yeah,
right?
I think so. And Marlo Thomas,
Yeah.
his daughter, took the reins up too. Just a great organization.
That girl.
Yeah, that girl. Yeah.
Yeah, that is a great organization. People who have little children that get cancer and stuff. I can't imagine anything worse in life.
No, and St. Jude always says, parents pay nothing. They pay nothing. That's how great this organization is. So again, thank you, Richard, and thank you, Slide 89, for picking that particular charity. So another great tournament, and of course, we'll do it again in March.
That sounds good.
Hey, thanks to everyone who's been clicking through our Amazon link. Remember, whenever you're going to buy something through Amazon, please go to our page first, youcanbetonthat.com, and click through our Amazon link towards the top of the page. You know what that means? It's voicemail time. First up is Josh.
Hey, Mark and Dr. Mike. This is Josh from the On the Wrong Lead podcast. I just finished listening to your last podcast where you talked a little bit about bubble craps. And, you had mentioned easy craps a little while ago. And so I think I kind of figured out what the difference between the three different machines are. And I'm talking about the individual bubble crap machines. Obviously, there's a standard craps one. And like you said, you buy the 5 and 9, which is better than you can usually do on a table if you're betting really low limits. But they have an easy craps, and then there's also a crapless craps machines. Now, what I found the difference between these two machines, the crapless craps machine is just like the craps machine. You can buy all the numbers and get the more favorable odds. However, easy craps looks like a crapless machine. However, you can only place all the numbers. There's no option to buy. I guess that's what makes it quote unquote easy. But thank you guys for doing that podcast to me over the summer, and good luck on your next trip. Bye.
Yeah, thanks, Josh. We were on his show this last year, On the Wrong Lead, which is a horse racing show. And that was a lot of fun. So check that out. That's on YouTube. Just do a search for On the Wrong Lead.
Yeah, lots of good information for people who want to dabble in some horse.
Yeah, for having fun going to the track.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, for having fun. Yeah.
So good. Thanks, Josh, for clarifying all these. So I'm just kind of going to repeat what he said here. But there are three different individual bubble craps machines that you will probably see around the casino. One just says craps, one says crapless craps, and one says easy craps. So the one that just says craps, that's the one that we're all used to. It's great because you can buy the 4, 5, 9, 10. You don't have to pay the VIG till the bet wins. Yes, in some cases that 5% VIG is against what you win as opposed to what you bet, but still it's better than making place bets. Now, easy craps is the game that I saw. Easy craps and crapless craps are both crapless games. I didn't actually look at the pay tables on the ones that say crapless craps. But according to Josh, those are the better ones, the ones where you can also buy numbers and only pay the VIG on wins. Easy craps, which is the machine that I saw, again, that's also crapless craps, but all you can do is make place bets. And the odds on those place bets aren't nearly as good as buying the numbers on a crapless craps table. So there you go. Thanks, Josh.
Yeah, and it's funny because if I walked into a casino, Mark, and I saw these three individual bubble craps machines lined up in a row, and I had never played craps, I'd go, regular craps. Yeah. Crapless craps. That sounds like it's going to hurt. Right?
Yeah, right.
I mean, because, you want to go, but you just can't.
Yeah, right.
And then easy craps. That sounds like the one I want to play, right?
Right.
Nice easy craps. That's the one you'd pick, and that's the wrong one.
It's like the worst of the three. That's correct.
Yeah. Yeah. See, they're playing with your mind there because ideally everyone wants an easy craps machine.
Crapless craps, it's the worst. What are you going to have to do? First you take some pills, then you have to get some kind of device.
Yeah, you feel it's just a terrible feeling.
Yeah. So
now they have to come up with a fourth machine, though.
Yeah, hard craps.
Hard craps. Yeah, and that's another one you probably want to avoid.
I'll tell you, if they ever have a machine called hard craps, you're going to see me there every trip. Oh, there's Mark. Hard craps again. I'll be waving at people. You bet I'm playing hard craps. All right, next up, as we mentioned, Brandon, who came in third place at the tournament.
Mark, Dr. Mike, Brandon here from Salt Lake City. Thanks for a great poker tournament the other day. It was a lot of fun. making the final table, and then even though my internet dropped on me and I wasn't able to finish out the tournament, it was still fun taking third place. What a fun run, and thanks again for putting that on. Hey, listening to the latest podcast, Dr. Mike, when you said air conditioning was the greatest invention of all time, I essentially yelled to my wife, Dr. Mike agrees with me on air conditioning, because I have said for years that air conditioning is the greatest invention of all time. So I'm glad that somebody else sees this the same way that I do. So you are in good company, my friend. Thanks again, guys, for doing the poker tournament. Dr. Mike, I'm glad to see that you lasted a little longer than you normally did. And Mark, I don't know how you always seem to end up at the final table, but when you told a group of us that you had the dust and somebody didn't believe you, I just started laughing. I thought that was pretty funny. So anyway, thanks again, guys. We'll be in touch. See ya.
Yeah, I made the final table. I think I went out in ninth, but oh my gosh, when the tournament started, I was getting the nuts a lot.
Yeah.
And then people were going all in front of me. So I doubled up several times right at the beginning. I was able to ride that for quite a while.
Well, see, that's how you do so well. I have terrible luck. I never get good hands. I struggle the whole time.
Blah.
You get the nuts. Everyone wants to take you out because you're Mark Duvall. And then you end up with a bunch of chips and you ride it through.
I think you beat me last tournament. Didn't you come in a higher place last tournament?
There was one tournament that happened.
Just relax.
Well, I'm glad that geniuses like Brandon and I think alike.
Oh, Mike,
about the air conditioner.
I'll tell you, so I know the entire country's been going through heat waves over the summer. The heat wave finally made it to San Diego this last week.
Oh, my God, Mark. Yes, I know.
It was awful. And thank goodness we have air conditioning. Oh, we just, every day, we're just thinking, this is so great. This is so, thank goodness.
Yeah, because I called my mom one night and, my youngest daughter's living with her there while she goes to school, and Grace was saying, yeah, it's 106, Dad.
Yeah.
And I'm like, what? 106? I don't ever remember San Diego getting that hot. Sure enough, I looked in El Cajon, a suburb of San Diego. It was 106.
Yep.
And they don't have air conditioning in that house.
Yeah.
We get a breeze. We do get a breeze when we open the windows, but there's no air conditioning because like 40 years ago, it broke, and my dad said, "Well, we don't need to fix it."
That was your dad, all right.
We had a few days of heat, that's all right. We can get through that. The rest of the year, it's beautiful, San Diego, which is true. But Dad, times have changed. It's hot now. And they struggled through that. But I heard today that the temperature is nice.
Oh, it's great today. It's gorgeous today.
Yeah.
I mean, this is what people think of when they think of San Diego today. Yeah, it's just wonderful. Yeah, well, Brandon, when he was connected, he was playing very well. He very easily could have won the tournament the way that he was playing. But just the bad connection. So next time, Brandon.
It's funny, though, for somebody who got cut off as much as he did, and probably pretty aggravating. I mean, I know I would have been pretty aggravated.
Oh, yeah. And,
he hung in there and finished third. That's great.
He would come back on and everybody'd be like, yay. And then he'd win like 4 pots in a row and then get disconnected. Yeah.
And,
you could say, oh, gosh, maybe Brandon was doing it on purpose. No, he wasn't. Hey, you don't have to do that on purpose. If that's what you want to do, just fold every time.
Right.
You don't have to
disconnect.
Yeah.
That's the same thing. Well, see, that's why I say air conditioning's the best thing ever, because the internet, computer age, or whatever you want to call it, it's way down there. They haven't got that figured out.
They're still inventing it.
Yeah, they're still inventing it. They're working on it. It's just not the greatest. But air conditioning is superb.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. All right. Next up is our buddy Ariel.
Hey, Mark, Dr. Mike, this is Ariel. Trip report. So went to Vegas, saw a couple of concerts, saw Shania Twain, also saw some 90s band. That was pretty cool. Had fun. Went to Hoover Dam. Haven't done the tour yet, so we did that, but they were having some renovations on the actual guest center, so it wasn't as nice. But the tour was really good, so everyone's very nice and polite and had a lot of great information. So I recommend that tour for anyone. You could do 2 types of tours. The full inside the dam, $30 per person tour, or just a $15 tour, which is just the pipes. The $30 is worth it. It's about an hour 15 tour, so I recommend it. Stayed at the Rio again. Again, awesome place. Nice pool, nice rooms. Very polished for the suites that they have. So it's really roomy. Played some craps. Played at Planet Hollywood first. It wasn't a successful trip there, but it was still fun. Dealers are always very good, very polite, very friendly at Planet Hollywood. They had a hot shooter. I was playing it, and then a guy bought in mid-roll, had a point established and everything, and started to lay out their money, and I wanted to make some changes, and then, you know what? Right after that, 7 out, which is crazy. Everyone was like totally saying, what? That's rude. Everybody was just saying it out loud. It's funny. But that guy ended up betting the don'ts the whole time afterwards. I guess he made money. Anyway, went back to Rio and had a shooter hit all of the numbers, which was great. Got my money back from Planet Hollywood and then some. And he just kept shooting, like, for a really long time. There's this guy, like, across from me. He had, like, $15 left when this guy started shooting. And he put that $15 on the 4. And by the time he was done, he had over $900 on there. And he was collecting a lot versus, like, pressing. So that was pretty wild. Anyway, just wanted to kind of check in with the trip report. Hopefully you guys are doing great. And hopefully I see you guys soon. Take care.
Yeah, I hope to see you again sometime soon, Ariel. Boy, this don't player at Planet Hollywood that was buying in the middle of the roll, that sure sounds like the same guy that I played with at Planet Hollywood. Remember I told that story about the guy who's kind of, he'd buy in the middle of the roll and bet against the number?
Yeah, I got a feeling that guy is a regular.
He was a regular. Yeah, I could tell because the crew knew him.
Right, and Ariel just happened to run into him, as you did. The guy's probably there every day doing that.
Yep.
Probably the most hated person in Vegas.
Yeah, that's right.
It's funny, Ariel's call. Sometimes there's some calls where there's parts of it that just really get me, like this guy, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like thinking, oh, God, I'm so mad about that. And then, he ends it with going back to the Rio and having this guy having a super long roll. And all I can think of, oh, man, wouldn't that be great to be there? Wouldn't that be great to be there? And so the beginning of the roll, I'm thinking, yeah, I don't miss that. I don't miss those people. And then at the end, I want to go so bad.
Yeah, I hear you. Now.
And, you don't always get on those rolls. But when you do, when a guy has a roll like that, take somebody from $15 to $900.
Yeah.
That is unbelievable.
Yeah, it is so nice. When's the last time you played, Dr. Mike?
It's been a while, Mark. You know what? It's probably been with you.
Or Diamond Joe when you went after your trip, right?
Yeah, that one visit right after.
Yeah, Sherry and I went the other night and it was just terrible. No winning shooters at all, right? And we just had to leave. That's how it goes sometimes.
I want to go every weekend. It's just been so busy. I've had stuff to do.
Oh, yeah.
But there'll come a month where, I've got some extra free time and I'll be able to go. Hopefully the winter's not too bad.
In Minnesota?
Yeah. I mean, if it's a bad winter, and particularly bad, like when I have free time, I won't be going because, 2-hour drive down there and bad roads is no fun.
All right. I'll just send you photos from me at the casinos around here.
Yeah. Here's a picture of me out at Sycuan.
That's right.
Mike.
That's me there, right? You can see the pool in the background out the window. Well, we continue to hear good things about Rio. Sounds like the new owners are spending some money to improve it quite a bit, so that's good. And I also would really recommend Hoover Dam. I know, Mike and I joke about how it's torture for us to be in Las Vegas or around Vegas when we're not gambling, and Hoover Dam certainly qualifies as this. But it's a great tour. I would say spend the extra to actually go inside the dam. It's just fascinating.
Oh, definitely. Yeah. Definitely. You got to go inside the dam if you go there. If you don't, you've wasted a trip.
You've missed it. Yeah. That's a big part of it.
It is pretty interesting and amazing. And it's worth the trip. Yeah. I mean, I went when I was with my family, right?
Right. That's what I did too with the family trip. Yeah.
Family thing. If it was you and I, we're not going to stop and go to Hoover Dam and drive out there. Of course, we stopped and went to a minor league baseball game.
Yeah, but we left, Dr. Mike.
Yeah,
Could you see us on the Hoover Dam tour? I think we're done. Is there an exit we can just take? Right well, sir, we're deep inside the dam.
Go back up. I'm done. Yeah, Hoover Dam is wonderful, and it's one of those things you really have to see.
Yeah. All right, last call.
Hey, Mark, Steve DeStephanie from Charlotte, North Carolina. Met you a while back. There's Cherokee Homes Casino. Hey, just wanted to check in. We upgraded to the Black Card with Wynn on our previous trip out to Vegas. My wife and I are both 7 stars. And we just tried to book a golf outing and hotel room and was told that you have to earn that particular reward. Now, when we got the match, we were told we could use all that stuff immediately. Both of us independently were told that, and we can't find anything in writing that says that's not the case. In fact, one of the people there wanted us to go ahead and sign up for one of the specialty chef classes right away if we wanted to, because there was one going on at the time. So we're still not sure at this point what other benefits we get or don't get. So was curious if you know, but if you're not sure, then maybe you can put that out there and see what somebody says. Thanks a bunch. Love the show. Talk to you soon. Bye-bye.
Yeah, when you reach a certain tier in a player's club and you got there by a means other than them just rating your gambling, sometimes you don't get all the benefits of that tier. It's kind of crummy that they do that, but there are some players clubs that do that. We don't know enough about Wynn to answer your specific question. Maybe if you check with the guys at Crap Vegas, because they're big Wynn players, maybe someone like Michael Traeger at Travel Zork, who keeps track of, tier matching and that kind of thing. But if you get there from some other means like tier matching or like, a credit card, had you qualify for a certain tier level. Remember Founder's Card, you were able to get Diamond at Caesars. You might not get all the benefits. Unfortunately, all we can say, Steve, is go and, talk to someone at Wynn. And even then, you're probably not going to get the answer that you want. You may even get different answers from different people, which is what sounds like happened in this case.
Yeah, it's kind of like, I don't know, a marketing scam, right? We'll tier match you because they want you to go there.
Yeah,
right?
and you'll get the free parking,
yeah,
which,
and you'll get this and you'll get that, but you're not going to get all the benefits, except they just forget to mention that.
Yeah.
So then you tier match, you go there and play, and you're thinking, oh, this is great. I get all these things that I would have got, say, at Caesars, right? I'm a 7-star, but no, you don't really get all those stuff until you've reached it by their means, right?
Yeah, and it's kind of a left-hand, right-hand situation within the organization. You talk to somebody at the Players Club desk, they tell you one thing, then you talk to a host, they tell you another thing. So, yeah, it just is unfortunate. And Steve, I don't know if you're going to, again, get the answer you want, and I hope that you get all the benefits that you have coming to you.
Yeah, it's like timeshares, right? I mean, the marketing people are trying to get you to buy it, tell you all the great things and blah, blah, blah and everything. And then when you actually get it and you go to do something and they say, well, that's not really covered or something. But they said it was. Well, they were wrong when they told you.
Yeah. I've got to pay for landscaping? I haven't been there in 2 years. Oh, that's part of it. Read your contract.
That's part of it. So why are things like that, Mark? Shouldn't life be more simple?
All right, relax. I want you to just relax. Remember you were talking about how that call got you all riled up, right?
Yep.
Things like that. Okay.
Yeah, as soon as we're done here, I'm going to have to go sit in my chair and watch football for several hours until I get into a nice, calming situation.
I don't know if that'll help.
Depends on which game I'm watching.
Yeah.
I try and watch the ones where I'm winning the bet on, not the ones I'm losing, hoping that they'll come back.
Just think thoughts like, we've already made 5 numbers for the fire bet. The only number we still need is 6. Just think of that. That'll
and you're knowing that that's not going to hit because then you have a great story.
But that's okay because you've already hit 5. No, you already have 5. You're already getting paid, so just relax.
Yeah, okay.
Well, I know kind of in a short episode here, we haven't been gambling too much. We didn't have much in the news. And so I know, Mike, you were talking about how a friend of yours was betting some daily fantasy in Minnesota. Sports betting is not legal in Minnesota, but daily fantasy is legal in many states where full-blown sports betting still is not.
And you know what? Like an idiot, I didn't know that.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I see these ads and I'm thinking, well, they're national ads, right? That's for states that have sports betting. And when I was talking to my cohort, he said, "Oh no, you can do that in Minnesota." And I'm like, "You can't? We don't have sports betting." "Oh no, it's not. It's fantasy betting." And
Yep.
then when I found out and he explained to me and Mark and I talked about it, I'm like, well, I guess that makes sense. It's a kind of a loophole in the law that's being taken advantage of.
Yeah, the lawmakers, they carved out a special section for fantasy sports, not realizing that big companies like FanDuel and DraftKings would be able to come in and, start taking bets from people. They were thinking more in terms of fantasy leagues that friends put together.
Yeah,
they just wanted to protect them. Yeah.
Or at work. They didn't want people getting in trouble for having a fantasy league. And, like technically police could break into your house if you were playing poker for money and say you're running a gambling operation. And they didn't want any confusion with that. So they said, oh, well, that's okay. So, of course, big company like FanDuel says, oh, okay. And,
well,
they make these things that are like fantasy leagues.
If you remember, before the federal government finally said, okay, open up sports betting to all the states, leave it to the states. You remember there was a period there, Mike, where FanDuel, DraftKings in particular, were advertising fantasy sports like crazy during sporting events. Remember, it got kind of annoying because there were so many of it.
Every other
You don't see those fantasy ads as much anymore because now they're advertising for real sports gambling.
Right,
in there.
Right.
But the fantasy sport, they're still around.
And for states like us here that
California, we're the same. You can bet on fantasy sports here. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can't make, the typical sports bets, like you're saying, sides or totals, that kind of thing. Yeah.
Right. But anyway, I guess it's a fun outlet. He has a way to make fantasy bets that's slow. I shouldn't say risking as much money because it depends on how much you bet, but a way that takes a little advantage of the companies. So makes your money go a little longer.
Oh, yeah, like when they have offers and things, sign up bonuses,
he only
kind of thing.
he only plays when there's offers.
Yeah.
And then, he takes advantage of the offers. And a lot of times, it works in your favor a little bit. Doesn't mean you're going to win, but it does work in your favor a bit. But, somebody else who wasn't so patient might make a lot of bets and, get themselves in trouble financially, I guess. So what's the difference?
Well, the difference is just the way the law was written. That's all it comes down to.
I mean, people are going to do what people do.
Right.
And there's always ways around law. One of the people I work with, she's from Chicago originally. We were talking about the podcast. She said, my dad's all into that kind of stuff and everything. He has been for years. But he goes to a bookie. What's a bookie? She wasn't quite sure. She knew her dad had a bookie and made a lot of sports bets, but she wasn't quite sure what that was.
Wasn't sure what it was and didn't realize that technically it was illegal.
Yeah, technically that's illegal. And your dad probably doesn't want you telling people he goes to a bookie on a regular basis. But it was funny because, she just thought it was like us sports betting. And she was like, oh, yeah, he has a bookie. And then I'm thinking, well, that's just an odd thing to blurt out. Then when she said, yeah, what is that? Then I figured out why she blurted it out. But, it's funny. From Chicago, older guy, making bets with his bookie.
Yeah.
That's America, baby.
Yeah. He probably had bookies.
Yeah, bookies. Right. Yeah.
Anyway, daily fantasy sports, we really have not talked about it on this show just because we've never betted ourselves. But most states allow daily fantasy wagers. So, look into it wherever you are. If regular sports betting is not allowed in your state yet, and you've still got the edge. So,
yeah, and you want to dabble in it a little bit.
Yep.
Now, a couple of guys at school there have told me they just go down to Iowa and make some bets.
Yeah, I think a lot
of
people
it's not a daily thing, but it's a casual thing.
Sure.
You drive 20 minutes across the border. My wife's great uncle, he lives right across the border in Iowa. We could just go to his house and visit him on a Saturday and make all of our bets if we want.
Yeah. All right, well, that's going to do it for this episode. We want to thank some people for some recurring donations. From James, from Jeremy at the Color Up YouTube channel, from Kurt, from Nathan, and from Brian Dancer. Thank you again for those recurring donations. We also got a donation from podcast favorite John B., Going to Vegas September 8th through the 13th, in town for a conference, but who knows what shenanigans might ensue, John B. Yeah, he'll probably find himself at the tables. That's what I'm guessing. And also a very generous donation to your school fund, Mike, from listener Ryan. Again, thank you very much, Ryan.
Is the man.
Yeah.
He made a very, very generous donation to the school. And I don't even know how to say thank you. It's such a nice donation. And it's going to a very good use, possibly a new stove.
Wow.
For the kids in the special education department. You know, they like to make them cookies and things as treats and stuff. So, yes, that's what they're going to get, a new stove.
That's great.
So that's a wonderful thing. And like I said, can't thank him enough.
Yeah. Hey, at the top of our webpage, you'll find a link to our store where you can buy You Can Bet on That merchandise. Also, you can find a list of all the gambling-related shows coming up on American television at youcanbetonThat.com/TV-listings. And we've also got a list of gambling-related movies at youcanbetonThat.com/movies. We'd love to hear from you. Call our voicemail hotline at 951-292-4377. That's 9512-WAGERS.
9512-WAGERS.
Or you can email us at youcanbetonThat@gmail.com. We're also on Twitter at YouCanBetOnThat and on Facebook at facebook.com/YouCanBetOnThat. Throwing it over to you, Dr. Mike.
Well, Mark, I've got 3 things on my mind right now.
Okay.
2 are personal, and one is more gambling related.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to start with one personal thing for me. I love that it's football season and baseball season's winding down.
Yep.
I watch every Padre game, as you know.
Oh, I'm
watching every game with bated breath.
It's a great time to be a Padre fan.
Oh, yes, because they're so good right now. They're playing so well. Best record since the All-Star break of any team in baseball. Yeah. And they're hanging in there for a playoff spot, which looks like, you know, that's going to be a reality, which is great.
Very close. They still could possibly take the division even. It's mathematically possible.
Right. Yeah, they're not out of winning the division. So every night I'm watching that. And then, you know, I've got all this football between college and professional football. That's one of the problems with getting out of the casino. I've got things to do.
Yeah.
My wife says my favorite thing is adjudicating my sports bets, and it is.
Yeah.
So that's great for me, and I'm sure a lot of people who listen to are in that boat. Another thing, I was watching one of the games, and there was an advertisement for the Sphere in Las Vegas.
Yeah, Sphere, or just Sphere. I think they like to be referred to as Sphere.
Sphere.
But I think it's going to be tough for people to not say the Sphere.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Yeah, because it kind of sounds different.
Yeah, are you going to Sphere? What's that?
Yeah.
Oh, are you going to the Sphere? Oh, in Las Vegas. Yeah. Anyway, sorry to cut you off. Go ahead.
It's a building.
Yeah.
But anyway, they were talking about a couple of championship
UFC matches that are coming.
Ultimate Fighting championships coming there. And one of the announcers on the game said something like, yeah, you've got to go to that place. He said, it's just wonderful. And people who've gone to concerts there are saying how awesome it is.
Yeah, everybody needs to go there once at least. It really is something.
Right. That's nice to hear because, you know, when they were building that, there was a lot of people who were saying, oh, this is going to be, you know, one of those things that's a waste of money and it's going to be, you know, expensive and not worth it. And 10 years from now, they'll tear it down.
Yeah, it has very quickly become an iconic landmark in Las Vegas. It really has.
In Las Vegas, yeah. I've been thinking about that since I heard it a few days ago, and I'm thinking, yeah, you know, that is a really cool thing. And just another reason to go to Vegas, right?
Sure.
For most people, not for you and I.
Right. We go for the
Vegas has already invented what we go for.
Yeah, we're good.
Okay, and my last thing is, you know how you go through life and then one day somebody says something to you and it just makes you realize how beautiful life is, how good things are.
All right. Tell me what happened to you, Mike.
The other day, my wife and I are driving, just the normal, we're driving somewhere and, you know, you're talking and then all of a sudden you're not talking for a few minutes. And then out of the blue, she turns to me and says, you know what? We really need to eat more Butterfingers.
Yeah. Yeah.
The most romantic thing anyone has ever said to me in my life.
Wow. That's a special.
If I didn't already love my wife more than anything else in the world, that would have clinched it.
Yeah. That's a
That's
great
what she
story,
said.
Dr. Mike.
We should really eat more
Yeah,
Butterfingers.
I'm tearing up a little bit here.
Oh, so there you go. Not only do I have the most patient, loving wife who lets me, go to casinos and everything, but she feels like we don't eat enough Butterfingers.
Yeah, you found your soulmate.
Yeah, I have found my soulmate. Now, if she had said Almond Joy,
Yeah,
oh,
yeah.
we would have had to pull the car over. But unfortunately, she's allergic to coconuts. So when we get to Almond Joys, I'm the one that eats them. Anyway, I thought that was so funny. I'm like, where'd that come from? I don't know. I was just thinking about how nice a Butterfinger sounds right now, and we don't eat them enough. And that's all I got, Mark.
Excellent. All right. We'll talk to you in a couple weeks. Thanks for listening.
Good night.
Oh, sweet mother, I love you, Dr. Mike.